Hey everyone, Kumar here, and today we're going to be looking at the Symbiotes team taking down some late Ultima 7.5 content, the node House Call. I've covered anti-venom and the Symbiotes a few times now, so if you're interested in learning about more, please check out my previous videos. For this team, I'm using all the Symbiotes and their ISO 8 classes are Scream, Striker, Venom, Skirmisher, Carnage, Skirmisher, Symbiote Spider-Man, Raider, and Anti-Venom Healer. Situationally, I also use anti-venom as a fortifier too. Alright, let's actually break down the symbiotes. This is a great node to actually show off the strengths of the symbiotes because we're not dealing with a lot of initial burst damage, which is something that they struggle with. We're actually dealing with a more technical node that's two Draxes, which are taunting, which are protecting the team, and dealing with a Doctor Strange, whose special will flip everyone's positive effects. So we're going to be using everyone's kit, stuff like Disrupted, Stun, Slow, Ability Block, and spreading everything to really control the field. And you can see how well they can do that. And it's very consistent. You can do this every single day. And it really removes a lot of the RNG that people really hate from these fights. So the first thing we're going to do is we have Carnage. We're going to be picking between these two Draxes, obviously. And we're going to be using his basic to apply vulnerable. And we're going to use that vulnerable later to remove taunt. Alright, now we have Symbiote Spider-Man, again dealing with the two Draxes because the other one has vulnerable. We're going to focus on this one, and we're going to stun the Drax using Symbiote Spider-Man's ultimate. Now the reason we're doing this is because we don't want Drax to use his special next turn and do his taunt again. So this way we know he's mitigated. Now both of the taunts are still up. And it's Scream's turn. Scream's ultimate will apply Disrupted, but it won't remove this taunt here from Drax. But because he has Vulnerable, Scream's follow-up attack will remove the taunt, and he'll have Disrupted, so he'll be basically negated. He won't be able to do anything for like 2 turns. He'll be useless. So that's why Scream as a striker is very effective. We have anti-venom now. He's going to use his special because that gives 3 ability energy, and that'll allow him to use his ultimate next turn. And his ultimate spreads positive effects to everyone, and we want to get to that as fast as possible. And we have Venom. Venom's going to use his basic on this Drax here to remove this taunt. Because he already has the stun, we know he's going to be useless next turn, so we don't have to use a special. There's no need for it. We're going to save that for later. And now we're just going to start teeing off on the Doctor Strange. Screams is just very high damage character. Very effective. Look at that. And then we're going to be using Symbiote Spider-Man special to refresh that stun. Here we have anti-venom. We're going to use his ultimate like we talked about. We're going to target someone that has a lot of negative effects. He's going to flip those and give them to the entire team as positive effects. So that's his real rotation. You want to be applying positive effects with his ultimate constantly, and to get that, you're going to be using anti-venom special. Now we got Venom's turn here, and we have a new wave. So the threats are a Drax. You can't see him. You can kind of see him, but there's a Carnage back there. I rather just like Carnage in this fight. I think he's very annoying when he gets going. We don't want him healing himself up. And then we have a Spider-Man here who's a tertiary threat, not really worried about him. But we got to worry about this Drax first. We're going to apply Venom's special, apply ability block on him. It's also going to put vulnerable on him so we can remove his positive effects more easily soon. We don't want this Drax using his special next turn and getting his taunt back up. Alright, and Carnage, we're going to use his basic on the Drax here. His basic, because Carnage is a skirmisher, is going to remove the taunt because he has vulnerable. And what we're hoping to do is we're hoping to spread this ability block to either Cable or this Drax right here. But as you're going to see, it doesn't happen. But that's okay. We got the taunt gone. Now, Scream's turn. I'm worried about this Carnage back here, so we're going to use her special, which applies offense down. And we're hoping that chains to these two guys right there. So then they all have offense down. And now we're just going to start chipping down that Carnage. And if you just look right now, look at all these negative effects. You know things aren't going well for these guys. When you're running the symbiotes and you're seeing these negative effects, you have control on the field, and that's when you should be feeling good. And I really love Carnage Basic that spreads that stuff around. This is a Venom's been out for a while, but we're going to use this ultimate on this Drax right here, and we're going to spread this ability block to all these guys, basically making that entire side of the field negated. Now we're going to go back to the other side. We're going to worry about the two cables and that Drax and the Carnage. Like I said, now it's just dishing out the damage. That ultimate right there refresh the ability blocks. Now we have a new wave. We have to worry about the Doctor Strange and this Carnage right here. One of the reasons we wanted to take out the Carnage that was right here earlier is because if you have two Carnages at the field on the field at the same time, it becomes chaos. They start healing themselves, they start giving each other speed, it can be game over. So you really want to make sure that Carnage is dead before the second one drops. Anyways, you want to make sure to focus on Doctor Strange here. We don't want him getting his special off and flipping all these positive effects. And then my next biggest worry is that Carnage back there. I was trying to pass negative effects to Strange, but it didn't work, so now I'm just going to start teeing off on Strange. And because I'm worried about Strange, my best option here is now it's Spider-Man's turn, is I'm going to use Stun on Strange, just entirely negating him. He's going to be done for this fight now. Don't really have to worry about him. And you see here, anti-venom, ultimate. I'm targeting this guy because he has a lot of negative effects that he's going to turn into positive effects for his team. And this is just one thing I wanted to highlight because people don't really harp on it enough. Scream's ultimate applies disruptive, but it really is important because it also drains speed from the opponents. And we'll see that here in a second. So this right here, minus speed bar fill, is very important because Carnage is giving this team speed. You see Scream applying speed up to the team, and on top of that, she's applying slow to this team, to the opponents, and she's removing their speed bar. That's the synergy that lets you control the whole battlefield. And now it's just really picking them down. I take my time here a little bit. I just don't want to make any mistakes. I want everyone's cooldowns to start regenerating. So I'm ready for the next fight now. And this is basically the Symbiotes. They're a very good team. You have to worry about fights that have a lot of initial burst damage, but even for those, I try to use Fortifier on anti-venom and Scream if I'm worried about them getting one shot. So even on those nodes, this team is very effective. You have to be a little bit more careful on the boss fights, but overall, this is one of the best teams you can really use. I hope you enjoyed that breakdown. If you liked the video, please give it a like and give me a subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.